back to my channel. Today I have a big announcement to make, and I am so excited, guys, to let you know that we have already hit 1,000 subscribers. That was since yesterday, and oh my god, this is not a small thing. Thank you very much for being part of this, and for those of you who just joined us, feel welcome. And hey, you're in for a surprise ride. This is interesting. We are not stopping at anything but making our lives you know so today I am going to continue with the rest of the story from where we left last time, which was at the airport. But before I do that, I'm just going to do a quick recap, at least to bring everybody to the flow. So like I said last time, this is a journey of my life in Dubai, and this is what I'll be sharing with you today. So stay tuned, do not move. All right, so guys, I remember I told you that back then there were some agencies that were recruiting, excuse me, there were some recruiting agencies, and I joined one of them that was recruiting people to come work in the UAE in general. And the guy that owned the agency was so kind that he let me travel without paying anything. He told me that I could pay later when after I got a job or I was able to do it, because I explained my situation and said, hey, I have kids and I don't have enough money to do this. So he was kind enough to let me travel, you know, just like that. So here we were at the airport, and all the documentation had been done, and now we were heading to the boarding gate. It was a big group of people. I think we were around 19 people on the plane that were traveling to the same destination and going, joining the same company. There were like 15 male, and we were 15 and 4, yeah, we were 4 ladies. So we got to the aircraft and flew all the way to Dubai. And I remember on the aircraft I only had, in Kenyan shillings, 500. And food on board was not for free, so I had to buy some food, which I did. I was like, you know what, if I die, I die. I'm gonna eat. I'm hungry. Yeah. So our flight was quite smooth. We landed in Dubai, and we had someone from the company pick us up at the airport. He was actually waiting for us. He had a name banner, I think, that said the name of the company. And so he picked us up in a big van, and we were taken to the accommodation. And guys, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you that this wasn't a surprise for me when we got to the accommodation, because it was like our place to stay for the next 2 years was like a dormitory. So we had this one cubicle that had, like, in ours particularly, had 2 bunk beds, which was 4 people. So we were just the right number of ladies that traveled that day, because there was 4 of us and there was 4 beds in that one room. So we were provided with also this small I don't know, cabinets or something, that I should call them cabinets, metallic ones that we could put keep our stuff, like clothes and whatever else you felt like keeping in there. So we were each given some keys, or I think they were already placed there. So we set ourselves up, each one of us picked a bed, and then this gentleman who had picked us up from the airport said that he was going to bring us dinner or some food. And by the way, hold on, they also gave us some, on the beds. It was not just like a bed that you had to put your beddings and stuff. No, it had bedding, it had a pillow. I think there was a soap dish and some soap. Trying to remember the things that were given to us. They gave us, the starter pack for a new person. It's like the ones they have in the army. I've watched army movies and I've seen what starter packs they get. It was something, close to that, which was okay, but it was a bit hard for us to adjust living together in that one small room where you had to do everything, like wake up, take a shower, you get dressed in there in front of other people. But we survived it, and we signed our this actually, hold on, we had signed some contracts initially, but apparently these were not the main or the final contracts that we had to sign, because the agents were recruiting us to come to Dubai. We thought we were just coming directly to work, but we were coming to Dubai to a company that required workers who, I don't know how to put it, who got demands from companies. You know, like, let me rephrase this for you guys. So we were hired by the agents from back home in Kenya, and we landed here in Dubai, and we were, you know, taken by the company that required workers from Kenya. But apparently we were not, you know, this was not the final, because we still had to go to interviews, individual interviews to other farms, small farms that required people to fill in gaps. I hope that makes you understand what this means. So that meant after a few days, each one of us was called, or maybe a group of 4, taken to a specific company or hotel or whatever, and the managers there would, you know, conduct an interview and decide who they want to keep with them. So the rest of us would be asked to go back to the accommodation or places we stayed. And thankfully, even without security, because I was working as a security, I mean, this job was security. If I did not mention it earlier, but it was a security officer. So here are some pictures in the security company, me and my colleagues, more colleagues, and that's me and my other colleague as well. So I didn't have any, of course I didn't have any experience. I didn't have any experience in this field, but the first interview that we went to as a group, I think there was 9 of us, I got selected to work there. Okay, and I specifically said to this guy, when he asked, so what's your experience in the security field? And I was like, I have 0 experience. I didn't even like think of saying, I have done a little bit of customer service, because I didn't have any experience. So I said, I do not have any experience in this field. And I expected to be maybe the last person they would think of speaking. But hey, me, I was among the people who was selected to actually work there. So the good news came the following day, I think, and we got our uniforms ready and we started working. The challenge was, the challenge was we worked long hours, and it was not easy at first. I mean, before I got used to this whole thing, man, I missed home. But I was determined to do it, because I was looking at the finish line out there, down there, the finish line down there, that I had to achieve what I needed to achieve. So after some time, there was a reshuffle within the company, and we were taken to different other places to work. This was because we belonged to the main firm that brought us to the country. So even if this client said, I've had enough of these people, we still be taken back to the main firm, security firm, and then we would wait to be recruited somewhere else. But I must say, in my 2 years service in this company, this whole firm, I worked in 3 different places. 1, 2, 3, 4. I worked in 4 different places within 2 years, which means they needed me here, or this client had enough of me, so they took me to another client. So 4 different places, and it was a different experience. But I'm telling you, to be honest, within 6 months you start getting used to the whole thing. Now the challenges, number one challenge we faced when we landed here was everything, or every time I went to the store to buy something, even if that, even if it was just a bottle of water, I would convert that into Kenya shillings to know how much exactly, or to know the value for whatever it is I was buying. And so number one challenge for me was the calculations, like understanding the currency here. And number two, of course, living with people so close. Like, these cubicles were so small that it felt like I was facing somebody's face. I mean, someone was looking at me, like, literally like this. It was like I was under a radar camera. Yeah. I also think I had a challenge, or challenges, with food initially, because the food was too spicy, or I couldn't find the right thing to eat, and I had trouble with my stomach. But all this, of course, is something that I got used to, adjusted, and then I started now seeing the brighter side of course, being away from home. I missed my family so much. It was not easy. I missed them, missed the kids, but I tried my best to call, even though it was very expensive. It still is expensive, but now I must say I can manage to call every day if I want to, because, of course, after some time you get used to, what am I saying? No, I'm not, you don't get used to expensive stuff. After some time, after some time, you get used to the fact that you really have to call regardless. And of course, over the period of time I've been here, I've found myself a better job than what I had initially. So I'm not trying to say that things have become cheaper. Anyway, so that was, I lived in that setup, or I worked in that company for 2 years. And after 2 years, I changed my job and moved to a different, like, it was totally different, because it was now hospitality. And I started working for a hotel as a hostess. That's me as a hostess, me and my colleagues at the restaurant, more colleagues. That's me and that was my assistant manager, actually, which was ushering guests into the restaurant. I love this job. I actually did, because I interacted with so many people. I found it interesting, you know. So I did this, and I also helped with the service. I learned how to serve. So if you ask me to balance some plates on my hands, I'm not going to drop anything. But I remember one time I messed up clients or a guest's shirt with some wine, and yeah, wasn't good. But overall, I enjoyed working in this Italian restaurant in this five-star hotel. So I also got more money than I got in my previous company. And I worked in this hotel for 1 year, 6 months. And then then I met someone, and the reason I'm actually hesitating, I'm not sure if I want to share this or not, but it was really dramatic at the end. That's probably why I'm trying to just be like, oof. But so I met somebody, and he lived in a different Emirate. He lived in a different Emirate than that, but a 1 hour drive from where I lived. So I moved. I changed my job to move to the Emirate where he was, because of course his job was bigger, much bigger. I mean, anyway, I was okay with a move that by that time. So I moved there and started working for a real estate company. Now this was the formal world. Finally, me and the office, which was quite new to me, but I coped. Sometimes I dressed down too, but yeah, I enjoyed the office life. That is me in the office, which was a big deal, because now this was my decisions to make in the company. Sometimes I was like, I had to do actually this is this I was this is the place where I actually started working ever since I moved to this country. You know, where you actually use your brain and you actually utilize your time doing something. Because I mean, I'm not trying to say that I wasn't doing it, but the other ones, you just stand there. It didn't require much. That's what I'm trying to say. So I moved there and I worked in the real estate company in Abu Dhabi for 1 year and 8 months. And of course, what happened is I resigned. I resigned because I was going to go back home for good. Because remember, I told you I met somebody. So now we were gonna settle down. So I resigned. Big mistake. And the moment I resigned, this guy became what he really is. Because I think he was pretending to be someone he wasn't. And when I resigned, because when I resigned, he had already left the country. He was living in a different country. So I was resigning to go meet him in that country or to go live there. And the moment I resigned, he turned into this one person, because he thought I was so helpless. Like I couldn't make it on my own, or, you know. And he started showing his true colors. And I now started panicking because I didn't have a job anymore. And I had started changing my mind about the relationship. So I started now wondering what to do. Should I look for something new? And when I was, you know, in between contemplating and thinking what I should do, I got an invitation letter for an interview with Emirates Group. I mean, I had applied for this position way back and I forgot about it, you know. So way back. I didn't apply for it when I was in distress. I applied for it way before that. And they called me in for an interview. And I think 2 weeks later, they contacted me and said that I had been hired. And because Emirates Group and Denata are sister companies, I was hired by Denata. Yeah, just another day at work with my colleagues in my uniform. Which was, hey, hello, I'm not even saying anything. I was like speechless. This was from a person who had no job to a person now who has another job. So I joined Denata 2015, this November, and I worked with them for 1 year, I think 1 year, 2 months, and then I applied for a vacancy or job in Emirates Airlines, which is my current, you know, current company now, and I got hired. Oh, I love this uniform. I do love this uniform. That's me at work, on my way to work, at work with my colleague, and that's me at work. You know, I mean, this was the company I was always like, I want to work with this. I think they look so cute. I love their uniform. And here I was, boom, hired. So it's been quite a journey. Very, very, I mean, for me, when I think about it, I think that I've grown career-wise, because I started at a very, very, you know, low level, if you ask me. And what I'm doing right now is something that I'm comfortable with, something that I love doing. I love the airline. I mean, I used to be like, I wish, if you watched my previous video, I said what I wanted to be in future. I said a air hostess or a pilot. This is the closest I am to that, which I hoped I would be in, you know, when I was growing up. So I would like today to just encourage anyone of you out there, who just thinks of doing something but doesn't act on it, because in all honesty, it's not going to change if you don't act. You have to be prepared to take that first step. You have to be prepared to actually do it. Hey, I'm not a perfect person, but I try. If I think of doing something, but I told you, initially I said to you guys that my motivation is my kids. Like when I look at them and I imagine them lacking anything, like not being able to go to school because I do not have, I cannot be able to provide for them, I work even harder. That gets me off. That kicks me. That makes me stand up and go like, I'm trying this, no matter how dangerous it is. So, if you want to succeed in life, if you want to at least achieve half your goals, if not all, because I am for achieving all, if possible, then you need to take that step. No matter how scary or shaky it is, you need to be prepared to take it, because that's the only way. No one is going to do it for you. Nobody is going to do it for you. You have to do it yourself. And if you if you roll back this whole tape that I've been playing ever since I started talking about or doing my story, go back to my childhood, come to my marriage life, my life after marriage, before I actually got this, or the job I got, the first job I got, and now you will be like, wow, that's a success story. But I'm telling you the truth, there has been, I have been like in moments where I was so scared, in between not knowing what to do and going like, I'm giving up, and that's not even a cute position to be in, not knowing what to do and giving up. So there is like not even a better choice, but I go with them. I forget about the giving up and I go with not knowing what to do. I'll figure it out when I get there. You know what I mean? So I guess this has come to the end of my session today, but I have more and more stories to give you. The next one, probably I'll share with you how and when my kids first traveled to come to Dubai for their holiday, their first holiday, which of course was very interesting, and I was proud of myself, like, wow, finally I can manage to bring my kids to visit me. So stay tuned and kindly leave me a comment down below. Do not forget to subscribe if you haven't, and feel free to share these videos. Until next time,